Richard Santiago. Live feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher. For all your digital resources, check out travelingtechteacher.com. Also brought to you by thebullyexposed.com. Get your t-shirt, your Be Kind t-shirt, or any t-shirt at represent.com/sports/thebullyexposed. And not any kind of t-shirt. I mean, you can get our posts. We are creating our posts now, and we're turning them into shirts. You can get them there. Thank you, everyone, joining us. Natalie, thank you for joining us. Safe, thank you for joining us. So today we're going to talk about the Pinocchio effect and other mind tricks. Well, at least that's what my friend the psychologist calls it. I don't like to call it mind tricks, but that's what he calls it, mind tricks. So we're going to tell you about the Pinocchio effect and other mind tricks. So if you don't know what the Pinocchio effect is, you definitely want to stay tuned. I want to let you guys know that you can support the bullyexposed.com without any money, guys. Without any money. All you have to do is share their posts, like their posts, tag a friend, say something nice, and post a pic. And we want to let you know that you're more than welcome. The Bully Exposed wants to let you know that you're more than welcome to screenshot any one of our great posts and use it on your feed. No problem. Also, shout them out. And also, if you're on Facebook, you can go to thebullyexposed.com on Facebook, or When Bullies Become Bosses on Facebook, and leave a message. So many ways, many ways for you to support thebullyexposed.com without spending any money. All right, so let me pull up my notes here and get to what exactly is Pinocchio effect. And I thought it would be best for other people to explain that to you. So I got these two psychologists here that are going to explain it to you. Here you go.
Pinocchio effect. It's when someone uses more words than is necessary to give you an answer. If somebody's lying to you, they know they're lying, and they're worried about it. And consequently, they're going to need to work harder to convince you. So the more effort they go to convince you that they're telling the truth, the more likely it is that they're lying. They're adding more words. They're worried that you don't believe them. They have to add in more convincing. They might even say, why would I lie? Why would it be in my interest to not tell you the truth? The more effort, the more words they use to convince you that they're telling the truth, the more likely it is that they're lying.
So there you guys got it, the Pinocchio effect. Let's get one more opinion on the Pinocchio effect, or one more diagnosis.
The wooden puppet's nose would grow longer every time he told a lie. Well, that story may not actually be as far-fetched as it may seem. Researchers from the University of Granada, Spain, Department of Experimental Psychology, have discovered that when a person tells a lie, there is an increase in the temperature around their nose and in the orbital muscle in the inner corner of their eyes. They are, of course, calling it the Pinocchio effect. Also, researchers at the University of Notre Dame performed a 10-week study and found that telling fewer lies can literally improve your health. This new research shows that when people manage to reduce their lies, they reported significantly improved physical and mental health. Notre Dame psychology professor and lead author Anita Kelly says participants could purposefully and dramatically reduce their everyday lies, and that in turn was associated with significantly improved health. Those who reduced their lying suffered less from physical complaints such as sore throats and headaches, as well as feeling tense or melancholy. Recent evidence indicates that Americans average about 11 lies per person per week.
11 lies.
That seems a bit concerning. With my tongue buried deep in my cheek, I wonder if they included politicians in their research.
Oh my God, this guy's putting people out of work.
Scientific fact that lying is a health hazard. The old saying that honesty really is the best policy, especially when it comes to your overall health and well-being, holds up in this case.
Wow. So 11 lies per person per week, I think he said. And it can help your health. That's I find really strange. Maria Ruiz, thank you for joining the show. Smash that heart if you guys have a question or a statement, guys. All right. That's very interesting. That it when you tell the truth, it also helps your health as well. Being honest helps your health as well. That's very excuse me, guys. That's very interesting. The other thing I found is that study that when you tell a lie, that heat that your nose becomes warmer. So I guess you need infrared to kind of see that, and I guess that's how they took that test. That's very interesting, and I guess that's where the Pinocchio theory came up for Disney, because something happens around the nose. I've also heard your nose flares up as well. I heard it also gets a little more pinker. I've heard from other psychologists. So that I'm assuming that's where Disney got its thought for the Pinocchio effect, and that's very interesting. Um, so let's move on. Then let's move on. Let's talk about some other things that you can do. These are mind tricks that you can do to help yourself with your bully. So number 10, how do you tell if someone is looking at you, right? Sometimes your bully might be trying to harass you and trying to intimidate you. I know that in the workplace that this happens a lot. The bully will try to look at you from afar in an intimidating manner, and in terms to intimidate you more, to get into your brain more without actually physically doing anything, or pretty much without, it is a mental thing, but without really doing any physical work. So now some supervisors do that and try to pretend like they're not watching you. But so if they are doing that, what you can do is this great effect is, rather than turn around and look at them and have them, staring out the window or looking the other way, you can just yawn, and then look at them. And if they start to yawn, then if they're looking away from you and they are yawning, that means they were looking at you. And this works because it works on the effect that people are empathizing with others. So you see them yawn and you're a very empathetic person, so then you yawn. But if you have a bully that's narcissistic and does not care only about himself, this is a good way of finding out how narcissistic they are. And this was very interesting to me when I was told this by one of my psychologist friends. If you're you have your bully and he thinks you're, like I said, he thinks you're looking at him, or he he's looking at you. Maybe he's in your face arguing, well, I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. Let me change that. I wouldn't do it if he's in your face arguing with you, because then he can be thinking that if you yawn, that's a sign of that you're bored with what he's saying, and that can escalate the situation. So please scratch that. But what if you're not dealing face to face or in a physical manner with your bully? Maybe he's just staring at you from across the room. What you want to do is yawn. And if he does not yawn, that is a good sign, according to psychologists, of how unempathetic he is, if that's a word. Is unempathetic a true word? I don't know. Because he doesn't feel empathy for you, so he's not going to yawn. Someone who feels empathy for you, that's why you could all be working in a room with your friends, right? Or with your coworkers, and one person will yawn and the whole room yawns, right? That That person that doesn't yawn, watch out for that person. That could be a bully if he doesn't yawn. So let's move on. And that's a way to find out if someone is actually looking at you. Number 9 mind trick comes from using food to deflect a situation. The next time that you're having an argument with a friend or your loved one, instead of going to the park to kind of hash out your differences, go to a restaurant. We're talking about yawning, and now I'm tired all of a sudden. I'm sorry. Did you yawn because I just yawned? Chances are you're not narcissistic. So check your local doctor. Most people don't get mad over food, and that's why probably some of your memorable moments that you've had with your family are probably over food. So have it at a restaurant, have your meeting at a restaurant if you're having a disagreement with a friend. Even for some of you that said, I rather try and be friends with my bully. Maybe if you're going to try that for the first time, maybe have your discussion over food. That's people tend to be a little happier around food. But remember your safety, guys. Always have it in a public place, and when you walk there or when you walk out, make sure that you can be seen by everyone when you leave and when you come in. That's important. Number 8 mind trick, getting someone to tell you more. This is a trick that we use, that reporters use. This is a trick that we use when we're interviewing. And I hate to call it a trick because it makes it sound dirty, but for lack of a better word, this is the trick that we use when we're interviewing people. So what you do is you just ask your question and say nothing afterwards. You say absolutely nothing after your question. No matter, if the person needs more clarification, give a quick clarification and then say nothing. A simple, quick clarification. Because when you do that, people tend to open up more and tell you more. So, that if you're interrupting people, that's a bad thing. You might see me use it when I interview guests on this show. I just ask the question and then I just step back and let them talk. Sometimes people will just ramble on, and then someone like that's just rambling on, you could reel them in by quickly say that's very interesting and then ask another question. But if you want to get someone to tell you more, the best thing to do is to ask your question and say nothing more after that. No matter how much they might stumble with the question, especially if you're interrogating someone and, why did you bully that person? And say nothing more. Let them talk. The less you say, the more they say. And if it's an interrogation, they could say something that could prove that they're bullying you or whatever the case might be. Number 7 mind trick. How to make yourself memorable. If you stress out when you meet new people, and I tell you guys this all the time, right? If you're always by yourself at school, you want to start meeting new people. That's an important thing to do. So if you want to make yourself memorable and you stress out when you meet people, you fear putting yourself out there when you meet new people. So this is also called the series position effect. Okay, series position effect. So what you do is people always tend to remember the last and the first, right? If I tell you I went to the store today to buy apples, peaches, and grapes, most likely you're going to remember the apple and the grapes and you're going to forget the peaches. because people don't remember things in the middle. So what you can do to make this work is when you meet someone, talk about yourself right away in the beginning, and then talk about yourself at the end, just before you're about to exit with that person. Now, some people might say, "Oh, that's pretty bad." You talk really? You're gonna talk about yourself? That's pretty bad. But I am not saying to monopolize the conversation only about you. I'm saying in the beginning, you say, "Hi, my name is Richard. I am the host of Live Feed with your host, Richard Santiago, that appears on Instagram. What about you? Tell me about yourself." And you let them talk about themselves, and let them tell you everything about them. And then you're about to leave, right? The first thing you want to talk about yourself again, So again, my name is Richard, and I have 2 dogs, and I'm about to move to Italy. First time living in Italy. It was nice to meet you. Goodbye. They're gonna remember you more. You're gonna be more memorable in their minds. Remember that, guys. And we have to take that thought process out. That if we talk about ourselves too much, we it's bad, it's rude, or whatever it is. We got to take that notion out. I'm not asking you to talk only about yourself. I'm asking you to talk about yourself in the beginning and at the end of a conversation. So if the only 2 questions you say through the whole conversation, only 2 questions you say, right? Say 1 sentence in the beginning and say 1 sentence at the end, and say goodbye, and you most likely will be more memorable in their minds. Remember that, guys. Also works for jobs if you're trying out for a job. All right, let's see. What's my next note here? The number 6 trick is a way to form stronger bonds. Okay, one way to form a stronger bond with people is to be active with someone. That helps you. To do. Let's see, what are my notes here. So to be more active with someone. So the next time that you meet a person, instead of going to the movies, or instead of just sitting at your house playing video games, maybe go somewhere that will get your blood pumping. Maybe go and play video games, and not at home, outside. Video games that, like that Dance Revolution game, something that gets your blood going. Or maybe playing some golf, or some, I know Pico, who's a big follower of ours from Japan, likes laser tag. So do the not laser tag, the ball, the one with the paintball. Do that instead. When you get your blood pumping and when you get your adrenaline going, it creates endorphins in your body, and that helps you to enjoy what you're doing. So if you went out with me, or if I went out with you and I enjoyed what we did, more than likely I'm going to say, "Hey, I want to hang out with that guy again." So remember that. The next mind trick is the halo effect. So let's see if I wrote the definition right, because I wrote this real quick while my friend was talking to me. I lost my notes. Hold on, let me get back to it. Okay, so the halo effect is the first impression. You can control the first impression you get with people. The first thoughts about you are very important. If someone is related to, well, these notes are sloppy, I'm sorry, then their thoughts, let me see if I wrote, halo effect is something is related to, then, and their, that's right. Okay, sorry guys. The halo effect is when you meet someone, right? And you try to find what you 2 guys have in common. For instance, if I see a person with a New York hat, when I meet them, I always ask them, so you're a fan of the Yankees? Most of the time I notice they just say, no, I'm just a fan of the logo. But, well, I like the logo too. So if they say that, then say, oh, I like the logo too. But let's just say they are from New York. They're not just wearing the Yankee logo because they like the logo. They're wearing it because they're big fans of Yankees. So right there, I found a connection between us. So talk some more. So were you born in New York? Chances are someone's going to say, yes, I was born in New York. Telly, thank you for joining the show. So they'll say, yeah, I was born in New York. Great. So that's another thing we have in common. We're talking about, thank you if you just joined us, we're talking about the halo effect. We're talking about 10 things that you can do to make yourself more memorable, or they really, I don't like the word mind tricks, Tully, but my friend that I interviewed for this said that there are mind tricks that you can help to either be more memorable. Zoe Ann, 83, thank you for joining the show. Where are you from, Zoe? So we're talking about the halo effect. So let me start with the definition of the halo effect for those that just joined us. So the halo effect is when you find something in common between you and someone else. So I mentioned that if I see someone and someone is introducing us and I see that they have a Yankee logo, I say, oh, great, are you a Yankee fan too? Or do you just like the logo? If they say, no, I'm a big Yankee fan, and say, next thing I'll say is, are you from New York? They might say, yes, I am from New York, born and raised. Where were you born in New York? Oh, they might say Brooklyn. I'll say, oh, I was born in Manhattan. Now I'm making a lot of common things we have, sort of like when I met Tully, and Tully was telling me that he's being bullied in the workplace. Then I said, okay, yeah, I was bullied in the workplace. So I'm making creating common things that me and that person has. So then when you and that person separate, that person's more likely to stay in your mind because of all the common things you have, and is more likely to say, hey, I really like Tully because of all the common things you have. So that's a great great mind trick that you can help in being more memorable with people. And remember, if you're more memorable with people and you have more friends, you're not being bullied because more people are around you. I mean, you might get a bully. I'm not going to say you won't get a bully, but you might get a bully. If the bully is jealous that you're getting a lot of attention of people, that person can start bullying you from that. But that's where you remain confident in yourself. And if you continue to remain confident, then that person is going to find another person to bully you. Like sometimes a bully might be bullying you, but he might be upset at something else. So he'll go and bully someone else if you remain confident. All right, let's go to number 4. Okay, so number 4. And I'm sorry, guys, but my notes are getting sloppier as the interview went on, and I apologize. Let's see if I can make sense of this one. Paraphrasing technique. Okay, the paraphrasing technique. I think a lot of you, so that you can help make someone feel special. When you help make someone feel special, then they in turn will remember you and say, hey, I like Tully because he made me feel special. So that's called the paraphrasing technique. And I think a lot of us know it, right? You meet someone and you say, hi, my name is Richard. Repeat their name back to them. Oh, Richard, that's a nice name. Maybe you can say, hey, Richard, I like that name. My father's name Richard, or something of that effect. Or maybe you can say, hey, I follow a guy named Richard at thebullyexposed.com. Maybe you could say something like that. Jay, thank you for joining the show. Where are you from, Jay? So you repeat their name. Me, I like to repeat their name, and I like to put some kind of match some kind of thing to it. So for instance, I have a sister named Susan, and if I meet a girl, Susan, I say, hey, my sister's name is Susan. Susan, that's a beautiful name. And it helps me to remember that person's name because I match something up, right? Their name with my sister. It also makes them feel special and confident, and they'll remember you when your conversation is done. So you say the person's name, Jade just walked into the show, so I say Jade. That's nice. It's the name of a a rock, Jade. So now I connected with that. I showed her that I listened, and then she's gonna like it. It also works in the same effect if someone says, "So today, I was working, and my bully just picked up my lunch and threw it in the garbage." And I say, "What? Picked up your lunch and threw it in the garbage? Did your boss do anything? Did you tell your boss, and did they do anything about it?" See, by rephrasing what they said, what your boss, the guy threw the trash in the garbage, that's showing them that I'm listening, and that's making them feel special, and they will remember you. Tully says, sometimes it's difficult when you're being bullied, and then you ask others if they have been bullied by the same person, and they say that they haven't. Yeah. Maybe sometimes, Tully, I would think that if you caught them outside of work, maybe ask them to go to lunch with you. If you caught them outside of work, then maybe they're more inclined to tell you, yes, that person has bullied me before. Or if they're being silent maybe one day because maybe they just been bullied by that person, and you approach them, then they might be willing to talk. There was a trick in here my friend taught me. Here it is. To get people to tell you more. So that sounds like the situation. That was number 8. To get people to tell you more. That sounds like the situation you're in, Tully. So ask your question. And try this one day. Just ask your question, have you ever been bullied by so-and-so? And just do not say anything after that. Stay silent no matter how awkward it may be, no matter how silent it may be. Stay awkward. When my friend told me that when you just ask the question and just sit back and just wait, no matter how long it may be, they feel you spoke. So they feel now it's their turn. They're supposed to speak. And if they choose not to, then, and you don't say anything to fill in that gap, then they feel more, well, it's my turn to speak. It's my turn to speak. And they'll just speak, and they'll spill the beans, and maybe then they will tell you. I don't know if you're breaking this rule, Tully. I'm not saying that you are, but maybe try that next time. Just, hey, have you ever been bullied by this person? And just sit there and let it get awkward. Do not say a word, and let them fill in that empty space, and maybe they'll tell you more. So the paraphrasing technique, so you know that. So, for instance, if I was speaking with Tully now, and Tully said bullied by the same person, and they say nothing, I'll say, wow, Tully, that's crazy that they won't tell you how they feel about this person if they've been bullied. So it shows him that I've been listening, and that's the paraphrasing technique. Number 3, get someone to help you do something. Okay, here's a mind trick to help you get someone to do something. And maybe you can use this, Tully, because it sounds like you're in a situation where you want people to admit that there is a bully amongst them in the workplace, and maybe you can get them to do that. What you want to do is, rather than ask a question like you're doing, have you been bullied by the same person before? That's just yes or no question, or what they call in sales a close-ended question, I believe. I really wasn't in sales too long, but close-ended question. You want to ask them open-ended questions. So, for instance, my example that my friend used was, instead of saying to someone, hey, I'm going out of town next week, can you watch my dog? You say, if you were to watch my dog, could you come and feed them at my house during the morning or during the night? And they're most likely to tell you, only a smart person would tell you, well, I don't have time to feed your dogs. But a normal person that's not really thinking, if you catch them off guard, they'll say, I could probably feed your dogs at night. Then you say to them, great, come by, feed my dogs. I'm going to be out of town, from this date to this date. Come by at 6 o'clock and feed my dogs every day and walk them. Can you do that? I mean, don't say, can you do that? Because that's in closing the question. So, come over and feed them at this time, 6 o'clock from, the 1st to the 3rd, because I'll be out of town. Boom. Then they'll have to say, oh man, no, I can't, which is fine. And don't break up your friendship because of it. Say, okay. But if what the technique is teaching you is, if you come in with a close-ended question, do you get bullied by this person? No. Or you leave them to just sit there and not answer you. Especially if you try to lead in with another question. Well, I'm being bullied. No, don't tell them that you're being bullied. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Charlie. I'm just kind of role playing here. So, hey, do you get bullied by this person? And just sit and wait. Or use this technique of asking a different way. And right off the bat, I can't think of any way how you can rephrase that question. I would have to think about that, and maybe I'll think about it and we'll talk about it in the next show. Charlie says, should I ask my boss for feedback in regards to when she spoke to that ward clerk boss to find out why she was bullying me, or should I just leave it? Feedback. Okay, so you're saying, I know we spoke about this in a DM. So you're saying you spoke about you spoke to your boss about refresh my memory, I'm sorry, about your friend. That's right, she's your boss, she's also a friend of yours. You spoke to her about the person bullying you, and that there's bullying going on in your workplace. Yeah, maybe I would give her 2 weeks, and if you have an email, maybe send an email, per our discussion, we talked about this, and this, and I was wondering, what did you come up with? I'm looking for some feedback, definitely. I wouldn't word it the way you did, and I understand you're just talking to me, but this is for other people. I wouldn't word it, did she talk to that boss about him bullying me? I wouldn't word it like that. I would word it the way you said. I'm looking for some feedback about what we talked about, and what the outcome is going to be, so I'm no longer bullied. Maybe that will work too. Okay, so that is getting someone to help you do something. And like I said, Tully, I think this technique of getting someone to help you do something by going about the question in an open-ended question could probably get them to open up. Because I'm going to tell you real quick too. I was going to wait till the end, but I'll tell you now. I would have people come up to me all the time. They knew that I was being bullied and targeted by my bully. They would come up to me all the time and say, yeah, she did this to me. And they would tell me everything. I didn't have to go up to them and say, are you being bullied by this person? They actually came to me and looked for me to be like, I'm sorry, she does this to me, she does that. But what I didn't like is when I would say, okay, because we had a union. I said, in the union, when you file a grievance, you want to find witnesses. It's almost like going to court. You want to find witnesses that can corroborate your story. And I would say, well, you came up to me one day and you said she bullies you, and you saw that she bullied you. Can you write a statement? That's when they would say, no, I'm not going to write a statement for fear of retaliation. And retaliation is illegal in most countries. So I don't understand why lawyers and judges and courts cannot uphold that rule. All right, so let's go to number 2. So number 2 is getting people to believe you. And I'm sure, Tully, you're in this situation. This is why I thought this was a good conversation to talk about, because we're all in that situation, right? Hey, I'm being bullied. No one's believing you. Well, we have to watch the kind of words we say. when we say words like I think, I think I'm being bullied, it shows, it sends a message to that person of hesitation. It sends a message to that person that you're unsure about what's going on. So you might want to use words like I feel that I'm being bullied, or I am being bullied. Or, for instance, if I said to you, I feel that you guys can trust the bullyexposed.com, that they're going to bring an end to bullying. If I said that to you, does that sound like I'm sure about myself? Does it make you feel comfortable? No. But if I said you can bet that the bullyexposed.com is going to end bullying. They just need your donations to do that. That's more confident. So remember to be more confident. And I'll be honest with you guys. I learned a lot by talking to my friend about this. I learned that I do some of the things that that is being said. I have said I think, and I have noticed that people say, "Oh, well, maybe you're not really being bullied," or if you just stand up for myself. And I just realized, well, I used the word I think. And sometimes I do catch myself. I say, I think that this is the situation. And then I say, nope, you know what? I know this is the situation and this needs to stop. So yeah, I use it as well. So I got to learn. We got to all train ourselves to talk and speak the right way with confidence. Say words that are confident, because you can be very confident, but then use the word I think. And I think for me, and you tell me, Tully, if this happened to you, or if you're watching this in the recorded version, you leave it in the comments. I think that for me, I use the word I think to be polite to the person, not because I didn't have the confidence that I was being bullied. I said it to be polite. But let's not do that, guys, because it's not sending a message of, wow, this guy Richard is polite, or this guy Tully is polite. Sending a message that Richard and Tully are not confident in what they're saying, and maybe they're just not being bullied when we truly are. So we definitely want to use words that don't make us feel that we're unsure or make people hesitant about believing us. That's important. So before I get to number one, I do want to let you know that Live Feed is brought to you by thebullyexposed.com, a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying, and by Traveling Tech Teacher. For all your digital resources, check out travelingtechteacher.com. My son is supposed to start school on the 3rd, guys. Okay, here's a testimonial. My son's supposed to start school on the 3rd of August in Italy, but we are not in Italy yet because of the unfortunate event. So now my son has to learn virtually, and he talked with some teachers today about learning virtually. And so if you're learning virtually, if you're in that situation, check out thebullyexposed.com. They only work for kids between 3rd and 6th grade, I believe. Check with them to be sure. It could be a little lower, but there's only a certain group. So if you're a teacher and you're teaching virtually, or if you're a parent and you're teaching your kids virtually, please check out thebullyexposed.com. Support them and let them know that Richard from Live Feed sent you. That's important. Okay, and I also want to let you guys know that ways to support thebullyexposed.com without spending any money. You ready? Share their posts, like their posts, tag your friends on their posts, comment nice things on their posts, post a pic, especially if you buy a t-shirt. If you buy a Be Kind t-shirt, take a picture of it, send it to us. It doesn't have to be your face. You can move your face in some way, but take a picture of it and send it to us so we can share with the world. Shout them out. Say, hey, guys, I want to tell you about thebullyexposed.com. I want to tell you about Stop the Bullying _together. Shout it out. And if you're on Facebook, go to thebullyexposed.com or go to When Bullies Become Bosses and leave a message. And one more thing I want to say before we get to number one. We post most of our episodes of Live Feed on YouTube. So if you're a person that likes to see the comments, likes to watch our show while you're on the train and it's hard to hear us, and you like the captions, not comments, I'm sorry, captions, and you like the captions, go over there. You can listen to captions. We've had a lot of you hearing impaired people tell us that please put captions, and that's why we upload our show to YouTube. All right, guys, so you can get that. Ed, Exotic Car Spot, thank you for joining the show. Where are you from, Ed? Okay, so number one, and I'm going to read your quotes right after this one, okay, Tully? Number one, keep your friends' attention. How do you keep your friends' attention, or your bully's attention, or anyone's attention? How do you keep their attention? Keeping eye contact, guys. You see my eyes? Yeah, you see my eyes. I know you see my eyes. Keeping eye contact, guys, will help you that the person shows that you have confidence. It would help you keep your attention with your friends. And remember, if you keep your attention with them, they're more to remember you, and they're more likely to hang out with you. And when you hang out in groups of 3 or more, you're less likely to be the target of a bully. Remember that. So keep eye contact. And one more thing, when it comes to your bully, if your bully looks in your eyes and you look down, that's a big sign that you don't have confidence. If you look them in the eye and you stay looking in their eyes, that is a sign of confidence. And it helps also to keep the person's attention that you're talking to. So if you're talking to someone, especially your bully, and you want him to know you're not going to put up with bullying, looking down while you're telling them that, it's not going to help you. Look them right in the eye, okay, guys? Some people feel that's a threatening thing, but, I could tell you this right now. You guys know, I told you this, I had a friend who worked for Las Vegas Police Department, the canine unit, and when he retired, he went into dog training, and he helped me train a lot of my dogs that I had. One thing that he told me that I totally disagreed with, and you guys have to understand this. Just because someone's an expert at something, all right, doesn't mean that they are always right. And that's one thing I learned from advertising. When I went into advertising, one instructor and one boss told me, just because you see it in the newspaper doesn't mean that the ad was done right. So remember that. So just because someone's an expert at something doesn't mean that they're right on everything. And this is where I have to say I think my friend is wrong. He always told me never look a dog in his eyes. Now you guys know I was a postal carrier for about 12 years. Okay, never been bit. Have I been attacked by dogs? Oh yeah, I've been attacked by dogs, but I never been bit. And one reason I feel that I was never bit is because I never took my eyes off that dog. When you keep your eye on that dog, some trainers, some dog trainers like my friend feel you're threatening the dog, and the dog is apt to attack you more. But for me, I found that when I took my eye off the dog would try and lunge and bite at me. When I kept my eye on him, that was less likely to happen. So this number one, and that's why it's number one. That's why I put it as number one. Keep your attention, keep your friend's attention by keeping eye contact is very important. All right, so let me go and hit up Tully here in the comments. He said, well, we were talking, sometimes it's difficult when you're, we read that one. Sorry, Tully, let's go to this one. Should I ask my boss for, no, we read both of them. I thought you said something. So your plans have been delayed. Yes, I'm sorry, Tully. I thought those were new ones. Those weren't. Yes. So let me bring everybody up to date because you guys are very interested in my boring life. So the dogs are in Rome right now. Both our dogs are in Rome. And I know you're saying, Richard, you're crazy. What are your dogs doing in Rome when you're not in Rome yet? Or in Europe when you're not in Europe? All the dog flights to leave the island are booked, and they're booked for months. Okay, we don't know when we're leaving. We can get a call right now from my wife's boss and says, "We got your plane tickets. Here's your plane tickets. We're delivering them to you. This is your itinerary. This is what you're doing." And we have to be ready to go, right? It's not a situation. My wife was supposed to be we were supposed to be in Italy before the 13th of August. So that tells you how far behind my wife we are with this. And it's not any of our fault. It's, the consulate, the Italian consulate is backed up because they literally shut down for, I think, 2 or 3 months during the unfortunate incident. So they're behind. So the dogs are there. So we had to send them there now, because if we didn't send them there now, we don't know when they'll be able to come. And we don't think it's right to leave our dogs with 2 friends, with friends, to leave 2 dogs with friends, even though our dogs are very well behaved, with friends, and them have to deal with, getting those dogs on the plane, because it was a struggle for us. So we had to put them out there. So now we're paying someone to watch our dogs. We don't know how long it'll be. Tully says, "Wow, that's frustrating." Yes, it is. And I want to tell you guys this. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it is. But I'm not going to let it, get to a situation of depression for me, or a situation of anxiety. I'm going to remain calm to this whole situation. So what we're doing now, so the dogs are there. They're being taken care of. I want to say one thing. I'm not going to say the airline, but the airline, or the company that we use to fly them, said, "We're going to give you pictures everywhere they go." So they went from Vegas to Hawaii. Vegas. I'm sorry. They went from Guam to Hawaii, no picture. They went from Hawaii to L.A., no picture. They went from L.A., I believe, all the way to Germany, no picture. They went from Germany to Rome, Italy, no picture. And until they got into Rome, that's when we got our first picture. So shame on you guys. It's okay that you don't send us pictures, but don't say that you're going to send your customers pictures every step of the way. And that was very wrong of them. And again, I'm not going to use that. We didn't use that. We didn't let that turn into anxiety. "Oh, we don't have any pictures of the dogs. We hope they're okay." Don't do that, guys. I know a lot of you guys do that. Don't do that. I'm not shaming you guys. I'm just saying, don't let a little situation like that turn into anxiety or depression. So now we're just waiting. And the minute her boss gives her the clearance, or I should say, the Italian government gives us clearance, we're off to go. And hopefully it will not be very long, because I'm not getting anxiety with my dogs, but I like dogs, and I want to be around my dogs. So, but I won't turn it into anxiety. And here's the other thing: raise healthy dogs. Our dogs. The person who's watching them said they're getting along good. They're not, usually when dogs are in new areas or things change, they might urinate in the house instead of outside. Our dogs are getting along great, and that's because we raised them right. So if you're getting a new dog, raise your dogs right. I know some people that the minute they leave the house to go to work, their dog rips up the carpet or rips up something that is theirs. Got to teach your dogs that type of anxiety, what they call in the business separation anxiety, is not the way to go. And don't let some stupid doctor, I'm sorry, but this is my opinion, this is what it is, some stupid doctor say your dog has separation anxiety and you need to give him this pill that's going to cost you, $150 a month because you're giving the dog this. Dolite Twins, thank you for joining the show. Where are you from? Let's see. Oh yeah, I can see how that would be difficult regarding your dogs, says Tully. It's a waiting game. Yes, it is. How many dogs do you have? We have 2. We have one Rottweiler, both females, one Rottweiler and one um, I'm sorry, Chihuahua, one Chihuahua. Um, so I love dogs, and I told my wife when I retire, she says I can't. She says we can't have any more dogs, guys, because it cost us a fortune. You could imagine a fortune to get those dogs from almost in Asia. We live almost in Asia. We don't live in Asia, but we live almost in Asia. We're about a 3 hour flight from Asia, um, all the way to the other side of the world. It costs us so much money. And like I was telling on another show, if we went west, it's a shorter trip for to cross over Asia into um, Europe. But we had to go east. And why we had to go east is because there's a rule that whenever you're going from, anywhere, if you're going from Japan to Europe, just let's just say, and you work for the United States government, you have to touch down in the United States. So, it would have cost a cheaper flight to just go west, but that's how it is. So let's see. Tully says, "Oh, that's the same. You can't get more dogs." Yeah, she says this is it. When these pass on, no more dogs until we retire. Once we decide where we're gonna be, then we're allowed to have dogs again, and that really bothers me. And I told her, great. Then when that happens, I'm getting 5 Rottweilers. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm not gonna get 5 puppies. No way, guys. Get one, maybe 6 months to a year later, get another one. I don't believe in getting 5. A lot of people do that. They're like, I like dogs. I usually have 3 dogs, and they'll get 3 puppies, thinking that, well, if they grow up together, they won't fight. No, let me tell you that. So the main thing is you have to show your dog. And I tell Trini this, and I hope Trini is listening to this. I'll send her the video. You have to train your dogs that you are the alpha, period. You are the alpha. And it's important that if you have small kids, that you teach your dogs that they are the alpha. So in other words, unfortunately, the low man on the pole is the dog or the dogs. Because if the dogs think that you are the alpha, but everyone, and then they're next, it's like you and then them, well, guess what? They might bite your daughter, your son, or your wife, or your husband, depending on what situation you're in. So it's important that you teach the dogs, hey guys, we are in charge. We are the alpha. Adber, I hope I pronounced it Abby. Thank you for joining the show. And where are you from? So let's see. Tully says, I guess you can always volunteer to work at a dog shelter. I told my wife that. I said, then we're going to be doing a lot of, and I've done this before. We're going to be doing a lot of fostering. We fostered dogs before here on the island. Because dogs, let me tell you something, guys. Dogs are a big, huge problem here in Guam. Okay? And I can see why. Because they're very expensive, and not only if it is expensive, even if it was free, there's so much paperwork and so much crap. That's the only word I can think of. Crap that you have to go through when you're dealing with getting your dog off the island. It's so much, and I can see why people get a dog. They especially a lot of military people. I think they do it too. Unfortunately, they come here. They're stationed here in Guam, U.S. military, and sometimes they bring their family, or sometimes they come along and they say, I need some companionship. They get a dog, and then they say, okay, great, I'm going back to the U.S., or I'm going to be stationed in at Italy, like we're doing, and I'm going to bring my dog with me. And then they find out how much it costs, and they're like, oh, hell no, hell no. So they leave their dogs in the jungle. There's jungle here, guys. You can best believe that this is jungle area here, and they leave the dogs in the jungle, and that creates the dog problem. So that's how it all all begins, guys. That's for sure. Until he says, oh my God, that's terrible. Yes, it is terrible. And, what can you do? What can you do? But it cost us a lot. We're not going to make that mistake again. I think, unless something incredible happens, I think my wife's going to stay at this job until the dogs pass on, and then we'll figure out where we're going to go. Like I said, we are hoping to someday come back to Asia. Maybe we can live in Japan, we can live in Korea, and hopefully we'll come back this way in a couple of years, and then we'll go visit Australia and all the other places like that. But that's going to do it for our show. Remember, guys, watch this episode over and over again so you can learn the 10 tricks. You learn about the Pinocchio Effect. Remember, and you didn't get a chance to hear the Pinocchio Effect, but it's basically people talk and talk and talk, and chances are if someone continues to talk and tries to convince you that what they're saying is the truth, chances are they're lying. The person that's telling you the truth is going to say, I did not bully you. I'm sorry that you felt bullied, but I didn't bully you. And that's it. They're not going to say, why should I lie? What good is it going to do for me to bully you? That is a person that's most likely lying. So remember that. This is a video you guys definitely need to keep for yourself, saved as a way to save photos. Things in Instagram. So save this one and watch this one over and over again, because I know I will, even I will, because the stuff that this guy taught me today in our interview was amazing, and I want to thank him for giving this information. But that's going to do it for us, guys. I want to remind you that live feed is brought to you by thebullyexposed.com, 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying. So let them help you. Also, remember, get your t-shirt at represent.com/store/thebullyexposed.com. We are turning our post into t-shirts. So if you have a post that you like, write on it, right in the section, this will make a great t-shirt. Or say, if this was a t-shirt, I will definitely buy this t-shirt, so we can turn it into a t-shirt for you. And Telly reminds me, yes, thank you, Telly, my hype man Telly reminds me to tell you to check out YouTube, subscribe, like, all that good stuff on YouTube. So remember, guys, anyone can wear the crown, anyone can be a hero. Be kind to one another, and have a great day. Bye, Telly.